On 22nd June this year, senior high schools will receive their final year students. For the final year students of the senior high schools, they are expected to use this period to take their exit examinations. One beneficiary of this particular intervention from the president is Ideal College. They run a normal SHS school routine system and also a remedial school. So we are here to interrogate some of the actions that government is demanding from stakeholders to ensure that we protect students as they return to school. We are currently here at the Ideal College, quite empty. I'll be joined by an authority of the school to take us around to look at their classrooms. How are you receiving the news by the president that final year students can't come to school?
It's a good news, but honestly, it's no news. We had a privilege and the opportunity to present a proposal to government. Ghana Education Service demanded a proposal, and being part of the national body of private schools, we're part of the team that submitted a proposal. And the very things we bargained is exactly what we have been given. We are happy, and we are more than prepared equally for them.
Well, even before we go to look at your preparations, private schools were complaining of some challenges during this restriction period. Does this solve the problem in any way?
Oh, ideally, it does not really solve the problem of the challenges that private schools were lamenting prior to the lifting of these restrictions, because it has to do with payment of salaries and all those ones. But of course, we have been asked to try and assess the stimulus package that has been made available by the government, and that's what we are still working on.
How many students do you have in total here at Ideal College?
In total, final year students, we are talking about almost 500 students here ready for the WASI as we speak.
The government is saying that we should have 25 persons per classroom. Let's get to see whether or not you can accommodate this with the 600 people you're talking about.
Yes.
Which classroom are we in?
So we are in one of the remedial classrooms right here. And ideally, this class alone, if we decide to use a mono desk, can take about 60. If you're using a double desk, you can take about 100 students.
So what is this arrangement for? Or you did it before school?
We just did before. That was the moment we're taking examination. This is how the setup is when we are even having examination.
How many people will you think this class would take?
Ideally, we don't want any class to take something more than 30 at the moment. That's what we are looking at. Yes, we have such large classes that even when you decide to put the distancing protocols, whatever in place, it can even take like 50 and everybody will be comfortable, where we have decided that we don't want any class, no matter how large it is, to take more than 30. And that's what we are going to look at it. And we have even other classes that are equally larger than this one, but we still want to maintain the 30 for now.
What things do we have to put in place to make this work?
I've just always indicated and made it so clear that the whole protocol should not be something too rigid. When a student comes, let's try and make it very flexible for them, you understand? Let them feel it's part and parcel of the system. We are crafting more or less a new timetable, and we are going to make it very lively. What we are doing is that, as for nose mask, it's compulsory. No mask, no entry. Parents are supposed to provide their wards with a nose mask, at least a pocket-sized hand sanitizer. When a teacher is teaching, we have already told them we are having another orientation within the week. At least every 15 minutes pause, and he asks them, what time is it? We say it's hand sanitizer time. Let it become part of like a ritual. Everybody, including the teacher there, you sanitize your hands.
You would give them the education, but what can we do to them if they break these rules?
We are getting parents equally on board that this is life-threatening. Anybody who is not able to conform, the best is you go and stay home. And it's as simple as that.
Write a WASI.
We can't stop you from writing WASI. Just as we do. There are people that when they break some rules, we have the right to suspend them. You don't have the right to stop them from writing WASI. When it's time for WASI, you come from the house, you come and write. And that's strict invigilation and supervision.
You have it all sorted for the classrooms. You also run a boarding facility. So we're going to check your boarding facility to see how well you're going to ensure that there'll be social distancing, and when the students come, they are safe. The president didn't talk about boarding facilities, but if you get the import of his statement, it suggests that we should work towards reducing the numbers. Have you thought about it?
That's what we have done. And what we are saying is that instead of still maintaining the 8 in a room, we are going to maintain 4 in a room. So we are reducing the number from 8 to 4. Ideally, you see that there are bunk beds. So one is up, one is down. We've decided that we give 1 to each person.
Are all your rooms 8 in a room?
So we have 8 in the room and we have 12 in the room. So the largest is 12 in the room. Yeah, and we even have 6 in the room at a point. So all the rooms that have that numbers, if it's 12 in a room, we are cutting it down to like 8 in the room. 6 in the room is coming down like 3 in the room. Then we have 8 in the room coming down like 4 in the room.
It's been more than 2 months since this classroom, GHS 3B, was locked because of the closure of schools as a result of the COVID-19 restrictions. On June 29, students of this school and of this class at the Osu Presby cluster of schools will be able to return to school. We are here to speak to the headmistress of this school and look at what exactly she makes of the lifting of the restrictions and what can be done to make sure that we don't get a spike in the cases when these students finally return.
Yesterday, we all heard from the president, and we are hoping by 29th of this month, they will come so that school will start.
How many students do you have in final year?
With the GHS3, we are 74. I'm looking at the number. According to the president, we want to bring it down because we have enough classrooms. Maybe 25 in the class or 20, 22.
What do you think will be your major challenge?
Our major challenge is the Veronica bucket. We don't have enough. What we have, some of them have broken down. But we are praying that maybe other people will support us.
Would they be allowed to play during break time?
Playing will be very difficult because, as I've already told you, they are grown-ups. So they know the implications of it. So I don't think they will be playing because they know we need to distance ourselves. So we, the teachers, will be checking on them.
There are those who are saying that we don't know where the teachers have been. We don't know where the students have been. Let us have some testing for those who are returning.
It will be very, 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 very good to do that because we don't know where they've been. So testing them will be very happy, even the teachers and then the students as well, so that at least we will know the status of every student or teacher.
Is this something you'll be expecting to see in the guidelines to be released by the Ministry?
Yes, that is what I'm expecting, at least to start with the final year students.
Government will be providing reusable nose masks. How are you going to ensure that students don't wear one nose mask for a week without washing it?
That job, it will be very difficult. So we are going to involve the parents because they are there with them in the house. So we are going to involve them that they will wash it every day after they've closed. So we are going to involve the parents.
Thank you very much. So universities have also been opened. The final year students are to report on the 15th of June. The body that represents students at the university level, USAC, is kicking against the president's decision. Let's take a look at what they have to say about this.
USAC's position is just one, and then our position is that we are against government opening school for especially final year university students, because we believe that the degree is an accumulation of the semester exams for every student, regardless level 100 to 400. Hence, there's the same importance that the level 100 can give to the final year exams. It's the same thing that the final year also gives the final year semester exams. So there's nothing like an exit final exams that happens in probably the basic school and then the senior high school. Hence, we feel like it's a very wrong call to have final year university students come to the university based on that assumption that they are coming to write the final exit exams.